Okay, so this week I want to talk about reed strength. If I can't do this with my reed, without biting or moving too much with my jaw or anything, then the reed is just simply not strong enough for me. I know a lot of reed players, myself included, deal with this issue where we're not really sure what reed strength to play on. We're stuck with either a 2.5 or a 3, or a 3 and a 3.5. Usually strengths of reeds that are right next to each other. It can get annoying sometimes because you just want to play on one strength reed. Some reed players, they don't mind getting multiple strengths and playing on them. If you're like me, you just like to stick to one strength of reed, not worry about what strength am I going to use today or anything like that, and just play, work on the music, and that's it. So over the years, I've definitely put reeds through the rigor in trying to figure out what reed strength to use with any particular setup. Right now, I'm erring on the side of playing a stiffer setup. So a stiffer setup is going to give you usually a higher top end, meaning the higher harmonics of your sound are going to be richer. They're going to come out more, which favors the altissimo register. If you're into playing altissimo and getting really high up there, the stiffer your reed is, the easier it is to get up in that area. Also, the stiffer setup will give you a lot more focus to your sound. So some people don't really like that focus, that laser kind of focus. They want a more sweeping sound, so a softer reed might be a little better for you. But for me, the stiffer reed really helps a lot with that focus that I like. Now, when it is too stiff, it's kind of like, okay, I can just keep going up in strength of reed and just get more to my top end and more focus, but I find that's not really the case. I make it easier for myself. I'm right now I'm using a 2.5 blue box vandoren. If I put a 3 blue box vandoren on, it just immediately becomes hard to play. Like I can instantly feel a lot of resistance. There's a lot of just like pressure within my oral cavity that it's uncomfortable. It feels like I maybe even get an injury from it. So you don't want that. So it's easy for me. It's basically like if I go one strength too much and it's too hard, I usually just come back, and that's perfect for me. I forgot to mention that this is a Berg Larsen 120 mouthpiece. So with a 2.5 vandoren reed, it's pretty resistant. So the focus that a harder strength reed yields, for me, helps me play a lot more proficiently from the bottom of the horn to the top of the horn. It kind of tightens the feel up and lets me not do so much motion with my embouchure and my jaw muscle. So I'll demonstrate that. There's a little bit of motion there, more for just nuance and kind of expressivity. But if I was playing on a softer reed, there's a lot more motion that happens. If you're into that agility like me, then I think a harder strength reed is going to help you out. So I have a size 2 here, same type of reed, vandoren blue box. When you're dealing with the same type of reed, no matter what strength it is, pretty much going to get the same tone. This is more of a subtle difference that the player feels, I think. So let me get into this reed a little bit. Okay, so immediately I feel I have to use wider airstream, and I don't really like that. The wider airstream does yield a wider sound, which a lot of people I think like. And for me, I don't mind a wider sound. I mean, I definitely like a more sweeping sound sometimes. But the one thing that a softer reed does not let me do is play into the altissimo range as well. So I did the same exercise as I did in the beginning of the video. Okay, so I have to really bite to get these things in tune up there. Okay, I can't really do it. This reed's pretty soft. So there you go. So immediately, I don't want to use a size 2 for me because I can't get in the altissimo register. If you do want things in the altissimo register to be pretty proficient, playing on a softer reed is not going to help you at all. But the softer reed can give you a lot more of the low end of your horn. You can get like a real husky sound on your low end, more like a tenor on the alto type of thing. And I'll try to demonstrate that with a little bit of an embouchure difference here. And I'm also putting a little more scoops in there, so a softer reed helps you do scoops a lot easier like this. action happening. Those are just a couple things that the softer reed can do for you. Again, you have to remember at the end of the day that these subtle differences that the strength will make is so tiny that you're really the only one that can tell a difference. Depending on the room you're in, it's gonna sound a little different. Depending on if you're recording or depending what style of music you're playing, it's gonna be a little different. You know, it's you that makes the sound, and it's just really the comfort that you want to get with a certain reed. And just remember that. So if you're stressing over, oh man, I sound so much better on this strength, that's not the case at all. Think of just the comfort. Whatever's most comfortable for you, stick with that. And I think if you stick with that one strength, it's going to help you just improve a lot easier, faster. Just to recap some of the points here. We got a stronger reed. If you can't decide between the softer one or the stronger one, stronger one's going to give you a more focused sound. It's going to help you be a little more agile with your technique from top to bottom, I find. And it's going to favor the high harmonics of your tone. Richer up on the top end of your horn, and your altissimo is going to be a lot easier. With a softer reed, you can get a more sweeping sound, a wider sound. It's going to help you favor the low end to your horn, really getting maybe that tenorish sound if you're on alto. And it's going to help you, the softer reed is going to help you be a little more flexible with the nuances, with scoops, and just being a lot more expressive and things like that. Also, I want to mention that a stronger reed is going to last longer. I mean, if you're playing with electronic music instruments like I do a lot, playing with DJs or R&B groups and things like that, if I'm playing a soft reed, it's going to last me, like 30 minutes, and then it's done. So the stronger reeds are going to last longer. You know, I could use a 2.5 blue box. Man, if I got a good 2.5 blue box, that thing's going to last me for maybe a couple months, honestly. So that's something to say. Now, at the end of the day, it's you that makes the tone. You know, you got to work on it. And I think just sticking with one strength or with any equipment, sticking with it and trying to practice as much as you can on it to figure out your own concepts. Because there's always exceptions to the rule. You have Stan Getz and Paul Desmond who play on like size 4s who don't have a super focused sound. I think their sounds are very sweeping. They're dark and lush, you know. So it's you that at the end of the day that makes the tone. Hopefully this helped. Like and subscribe. I really appreciate the support, and see you next week.